Hi, this is Jack at Dominion. I'm out at 628 East 37th Street. Wanted to do a valuation video. This is a piece of REO that hit the market. Just evaluating it to see what our offer price would be on this property. Really, it's an exercise in quick construction estimating, and then based on what kind of product you have, come up with the proper valuation for, and then backing into what your bid price is. So starting on the outside here, you got a box beam there that's a little rough looking. You got an internal gutter, internal downspout that is shared with a neighbor over there. It's really not a great system. We always end up sealing those off and making them external gutter systems. Otherwise we have continual maintenance issues. Gonna have to scrape and paint the cornice up there. Not sure if you can see, but it's in really bad shape. First floor, other than that, new soffit. You could scrape and paint this, but since we're going to be doing the box beam work already, we're going to do new soffit there. So I figure for the exterior work and the soffit, spending $1,000 in that range, maybe a little bit more than that. And then scraping and painting is a couple $100. The cornice, scraping and painting the cornice. Come inside, got plaster walls, old hardwood floors. They're actually in pretty good shape. We would be sanding and finishing these. We've got radiators. So even before we go downstairs, we know that we've got a boiler system. The question is if it's a gas boiler or an oil boiler, and how old is it? Got a lot. Notice all the trim is original. We've got two-prong outlets, which they don't have a ground. For rental property, we don't like having original leaded trim because lead paint is still an issue and it requires a lot more maintenance to stay on top, and you have to really stay on top of making sure that that paint doesn't become disturbed. And then two-prong outlets are just, it's not modern electrical system. I like to have those as threes. So we would be going into these plaster walls. Here's something that is often skipped over. Is the walls look like they're in pretty good shape. You could skim them. They don't, they're not particularly wavy. But given that you've got leaded trim and you've got old electrical system, we would be pulling off the old trim and cutting holes, digging channels for the new electrical service. And as a result, we'll be messing up these plaster walls. At which point, it makes more sense just to go ahead and laminate all of these walls with drywall so that you have a nice, clean, finished look. So that's, some people could walk in here and be like, hey, there's nothing wrong with this at all. And, technically that's correct. But if you're trying to stabilize a rental property for 20 years, we want upgraded electrical system, we want modern electrical system, and we don't have to worry about lead paint. So the scope of work, our scope of work is going to be significantly higher than someone who's going to come in here and patch and paint this place and put in just patch and paint this place and try to get away with doing the minimum level of renovation. So that's somewhere where a contractor, if you're not specific in the general contracting agreement, could say, hey, there's nothing wrong with these walls, I'm just going to skim them. I'm just going to mud them, I'm just going to skim them and make them smooth and then repaint. The kitchen looks pretty original. It's all old wood. That's actually even just regular glass. Got new top cabinets here, kind of cheap IKEA looking cabinets. None of these really are really salvageable. I mean, we're talking about, you're gonna have maintenance issues just constantly with these old cabinets. So we'd be replacing all of these. We'd be replacing this kitchen. Got peel and stick tile, no subfloor. They just went right on top of the old original hardwoods, and not surprisingly, they're coming up in a lot of places. So we're taking all of these up, putting a new subfloor down in here. We're still finishing those floors because these are in really good shape. But putting a new subfloor down here, probably Luan, and then going over top of it with either, well, if you're going to do ceramic, you do cement board. But if you're going to do, you do a lower flooring or another vinyl product, and go over the Luan with that. The rear yard, you can see some cracks in the concrete, particularly where that tree is. So that tree is an issue because you're going to consistently have big crack in your otherwise very nice concrete pad because those roots are going right underneath that pad there. So the judgment call really is to have continual concrete maintenance, or to suck it up and just get rid of that tree and spend the spend the $750, $800 to get rid of that tree. Additionally, you can see here we've got old shingles on the exterior. Nothing wrong with them until they break down. Vinyl siding would be preferred. We'd rather have vinyl siding there, and then vinyl soffit underneath here instead of just the tar paper, which is what they have right now, roofing paper, which is what they have there now. This pantry area, going to have a window in this door, but all that's lead paint right there, all that shipping paint right there. So that's really a concern for a rental property. We could scrape and paint that, but you'd have to do proper encapsulation techniques and all that jazz. What we really I think rather do is just pull this trim and then laminate this entire pantry area. You can see the underneath the trim there, the window trim. That's all leaded paint as well, so that's all going to have to be removed and replaced. So they've got nice windows in right now. The windows actually look in really good shape, but it's all of the other components of the windows which are going to end up burning you. If they're just having the windows replaced is not going to be enough if all the other trim components of the window are lead paint and chipping and disturbed. All right, downstairs we've got about 7'4" ceiling height. You could finish it as a club room, though the basement concrete's really wavy. You'd have to do a fair amount of concrete work down here, leveling, or even busting up the floor and redoing it. Given that we got some decent living space upstairs and this is a nice area, we probably err on just keep this as an unfinished basement. Laundry's already down here. We need a new dryer vent system right there. That's no good. But really the main thing to take note of here is all of the paint that is off the wall and all the dirt on the floor. This means that there's definitely a water infiltration issue here at the front. You can see where the dirt is darker at the edge. That means that it's recently having water come through that wall. This has all been dry locked, and this may have been dry locked at some point. It may just be that the water infiltration's pretty significant right there, but definitely count on re-dry locking the basement walls down here. Just got some old wooden cabinets. Got a flush in here, just a toilet. Just demo all this out. There's no reason for it. It's sitting up like that because sitting up like 1.5 feet off the ground because there's no ejection pit, which you would put in if you wanted to keep a toilet down here. This old beast has definitely got to go. It's an old oil furnace, so we're definitely taking that out. And then we've got an oil tank here. So we definitely prefer. You definitely want to have a gas system. That's our judgment call. So we'd be completely replacing the the radiator system. Hopefully being able to salvage the radiators that are upstairs. That didn't look in bad condition, but we're definitely replacing the unit. Water heater has 1/2-inch copper lines. That's not bad. It's better than galvanized, but you still expect they're old, probably original copper lines, so definitely still budget something in the plumbing category for your plumbing repairs. And then also notice that this is a gas hot water heater. It vents through the chase there. So if we're going to do any gutting upstairs, if we're going to remove any chases upstairs, we have to keep in mind that if we do that, we're going to have to switch over to an electric hot water heater, because if it's a gas hot water heater, it has to vent out of the flue there. And then the electrical system, you have a 100 amp box here. You can tell because on the top breaker it says 100 right there. And you got space in the panel for any additional circuits that need to be run. So fairly recent meter as well. So electrical system doesn't look to be in too bad a shape, except we saw upstairs that we had only 2-prong outlets in a lot of the basement, a lot of the base trim. So probably what they did was a box upgrade, but they didn't do anything actually upgrade to what's in the walls. So keep this as an unfinished basement. Expect to convert the oil boiler to a gas-fired system. Expect some plumbing work, and expect to have to run some new electrical lines in the walls as well, where those two-prong outlets are. So that's the tough stuff downstairs. Upstairs is more cosmetic and layout issues. Again, we've got vinyl that's laid right on top of original hardwoods. So we'd be taking all that up, putting down a new subfloor, so that we've got a consistent, solid floor. Again, our judgment call in this case would be to pull all of this original lidded trim. Again, we only have two-prong outlets here on the walls. Radiators don't look in that great a shape. They're looking pretty old. So we might have to do a completely new HVAC and electrical systems. Got a skinny hallway here, really not ideal. It's okay, it's 2 feet. Really prefer 32 or 36 inches. The bathroom is just kind of old. Again, we need floor's a little bit soft though. We would want to take all this up, put a new plywood subfloor down, new toilet, new vanity, really taking down all the the cheesy tile, the really old tub surround. We really don't like the tub surrounds that much, the plastic tub surrounds that much. They're kind of a maintenance issue. They never really apply that well, that tight, and so we always end up coming back and caulking constantly in occupied houses. The middle bedroom has no closet, so it's already a pretty small room. We have to build a closet, presumably, if you're not going to move the other walls, build it right there in the corner, which would make this a pretty tight space. And then additionally, we've got this window here, but this window is looking into a well. Sorry, it's kind of hard to say. It's looking into a well, and there's a cover to that well to keep the rain out, but you might not be able to see. You can see there's some deterioration in the wall there in the brick, and there's probably a really messed up drain down there. So this is brain damage right here. This is kind of a painful thing to solve, because you need to maintain your source of natural light to qualify as a bedroom under Section 8, but water is getting in there, and if water starts settling in there, we're gonna have water penetration issues and leaks. So that's kind of a brain damage scenario right there that we'd have to come up with a solution for. I'm not trying to solve it right now. I'm trying to just do the 10-15 minute walkthrough. And then the front bedroom is in the same condition as the other rooms. Also doesn't have a closet. So they've got these 2 hall closets that they're counting as the bedroom closets. From a rentability point of view, that's not great. And this is a tiny little closet. And this is what's supposed to be the master. Same with this one. Just a tiny little closet, one little shelf. Don't even have a rack in this one. So that's tough from a rentability point of view. Having those little closets is something that we hear about a lot as a negative. It's small closets. And then if you want to know what your roof looks like, look at the front porch roof, because they're all done at the same time. So it looks exactly like that. And that means that you need a new roof. And like I said, when we were outside, we'd turn this from an external gutter system into, from an internal gutter system into an external gutter system. So you're gonna have to count a full roof on there. And so the front porch is often a good indicator of what you're gonna see, what your roofer is gonna see when he gets up on top. So to sum up, not that great of a house from a rentability point of view, given that the bedrooms aren't a great size, the closets are particularly small. And unless we rip off all the trim and laminate the entire house, when you're going that far and you've got those defects on the second floor, at a certain point it just makes sense, and I think at that point it makes sense just to gut the second floor and lay it out properly, so that you don't have those issues and you've got a solid layout with good bedroom sizes. We've still got the mechanical issues. Really, it's a new HVAC system, new plumbing system, or not new plumbing system, but some plumbing upgrades most likely, and electrical upgrades, which are pretty significant. So we're going to be popping a lot of holes in these walls. This is kind of one of those houses that looks really, like cosmetically looks really pretty good, but when you really get into the nuts and bolts of the mechanical system upgrades, you find that you're going to end up ripping this house apart. I mean, you're going to do an entirely new HVAC system, an entirely new electrical system, and you're popping a lot of holes in the walls to get there. And given that they're plaster walls, they're not easy to repair. So this is a kind of a dangerous house as a first-time renovator, or even an experienced renovator. This could potentially turn into a lot of brain damage. There's a lot of unseen things here that will get you in trouble. So this is 628 East 37th Street. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, Jack at thedominiongroup.com. Thanks very much.